Hi there, Sorman Nilsson here from Think, speaking about trends and innovations, generations and communications. And today about the fact that your organisation can go from good to great to obsolete within a matter of hours today. We're living in an uber competitive society right now where companies constantly need to disrupt the marketplace. I think if it's one way that your company can deal with all of this change, it's really by creating the change that disrupts the market. Jim Collins in 2001 released a book called From Good to Great, where he case studied a number of companies who had outperformed their competitors at a serious multiple over a serious period of time. Now, Jim Collins' Good to Great Companies has been heralded as one of the best business books ever, and there are a lot of good thoughts in the book. But there's also some downsides, and I think 10 years on, it actually is opportune for us to actually look at some of the companies that he calls companies who've gone from good to being truly great companies. One of those is Circuit City. Circuit City is a defunct company today. They are a defunct company in a particular space of business, the consumer electronics space, where Best Buy is now dominating. In fact, Best Buy now has a 23% market share in the consumer electronics space. Circuit City didn't keep up with innovation. They were dealing with products who were moving ahead at the speed of Moore's law and actually doubling in computer speed every 18 to 24 months. In this environment, they just didn't keep up with their competitors like Best Buy, who are constantly evolving, constantly innovating, constantly disrupting the marketplace and shocking the marketplace with new ideas. So it's interesting that you can go from good to being great to obsolete and defunct and bankrupt within a matter of hours, months, or even a couple of years. I think another example of going from good to great to being the kind of distant player on the smartphone market is, of course, Nokia today. Nokia was the coolest company for many years. And Nokia was all about connecting people, and we can still kind of remember that kind of visual burnt into our hands or our minds when it comes to Nokia, of how it actually connects people. But for a moment, the all pale male stale board of this Finnish company didn't keep up with the diverse innovation that was happening in Silicon Valley, where the iPhone was launched in 2007, and not far behind, the Google Android Open operating system was also launched. Nokia failed to innovate, and they went from being a great company to now being a third distant party in that competitive environment. And they're totally struggling in the US market. And while they've got market share in the less developed telecommunications market in China, that is also one that is shifting very quickly now. And I think organizations need to remember that they can go from, that's easy to say if you're Swedish, they can go from being good to great to obsolete or a semi-distant third competitor within a matter of hours, months, or even years. Another space where this is happening is, of course, the digital space as well, where we see Blockbuster and Borders now becoming bankrupt and defunct as well. And the question to all future-minded organizations are, what are you doing to constantly disrupt the marketplace? The best way of dealing with change is perhaps to really create it, to disrupt the marketplace and to constantly innovate. And I think the key question you need to ask yourself is, what if you knew that your products or services would be irrelevant to your customers 12 months from now? What would you do differently?